Hey, welcome to Ben African Cichlids for another fish profile. So today we're going to talk about the Trophus bemba. So Trophus bemba are from Lake Tanganyika in Africa, one of the three big reef lake. So Trophus should be kept and if possible in a species only tank. The tank size for the requirement for those fish should be a 75-gallon minimum. They require really good filtration in order to stay healthy and thrive. Those fish here, you should not do more than a 50% water change, but you should keep the parameter of the water really stable. So you're going to want to keep your nitrate pretty low for those fish to thrive and to breed. So we're talking about like probably 40 ppm nitrate and lower. You don't want any trace of ammonia and nitrite in this tank, because those fish will not handle that at all very good. So what's happening? It's the male. Well, all of those fish, they're impossible to tell the difference male and female. But when they're adult, they'll have a nice orange color on the side. So the fish are black with orange. When they're juveniles and baby, they will be more yellow like this. And this one here is starting to change into orange, nice and slow. If they're fries, they're going to be all lines, so they're gonna look like little zebra color, all tons of stripe there. So those fish here are the smallest fish in this tank. My son Martin actually breed them from eggs, so he stripped the eggs from one of the female that was holding, and now after 1 year they're probably 2.5 inch. So it takes about 2.5 years to get those fish to become full size. So they're a slow growing fish, and this is why you're going to see that they're pricey if you go to a fish store. They don't have too many babies too, they take a long time to grow. So a full-size female might have 6 babies in her mouth at the time. So you need to breed them quite often in order to be able to have a good supply of fish. So yeah, those fish here, the male-female ratio, it's not super important. What's mostly important is that you want to have at least a minimum of 12 in a 75-gallon. But even 12 is cutting it short. Those fish are super aggressive between each other. They're not aggressive towards other species of fish really, but in between each other they want to do a hierarchy of who's the boss and have all their position in the colony. So they're going to always fight, and this is where you get the white mouth color at the front. So those fish, they're supposed to be all black, but when they're fighting for rank, then they're gonna mouth lock and try to spin each other out of control, try to show who's the strongest out of the fish and who should breed with female. So this is what's making their mouth looking white like this, is from fighting. And this is a normal thing for Tropheus, so nothing to be scared of. Like, this is not mouth fungus or nothing like that. This is just natural. It just means that the fish are, they like the tank and they want to breed in the tank, and they want to get control of little territories. So yeah, usually you'll do good if you have more than 12. Like, I would recommend at least 20 actually, and at 20, even if you have a male and female ratio of 50-50, they will do good. Now if you want to breed them, you want to bring the male ratio way down. So you want, maybe like 1 to 3 male for, 18, 17 female, and then you'll be able to breed them good. Now I know that's not super easy to do because those fish are fairly expensive. Here in Canada, you'll find them at $40 and more, and if you go to a fish store, and they might be even way more than this. Sometimes you can find babies that are an inch for $17, but yeah, most of the time they'll be a little bit more than that, and that goes back to how much how many babies you have at the time. So for a breeder, it's not worth it to sell them for too cheap because they take super long to grow out, and you don't have too much at the time. And because usually you want to have a species only tank, and it requires a large tank and lots of maintenance to keep your water parameter to the right parameter. So this is why they're so expensive. So now the water temperature of the tank should be 76 to 82, and then the pH of the tank is going to be 8 or 8.2. And yeah, you want to over filter that tank. So usually for 75 gallon or any size of tank, you're going to want to actually have a filter that's rated, that's going to turn the water around, and then the tank can filter the whole water per hour about 3 to 5 times, or 3 to 10 times what the tank size is. So in this tank, I like to have multiple, usually canister filter for a tank like this. Like that, if one of them fail or stop working or something's an issue, then you still have your filtration going, instead of just having like one massive filter and you put all your money into the one, and if something happened to that filter, those fish will not survive one day without filtration in that tank. So having the 2 canister, even if it's not ideal that one of them is gonna fail, like let's say you have 2 canister rated for 75 gallon, at least you have some filtration for one day while you're waiting to get a new filter or fixing the one that fell on you. So this is what I recommend. Now you do whatever you think is the best for your situation. You should have the tank really oxygenated good. Those fish get pretty big, they breathe lots of oxygen, so you would want to have lots of surface water, lots of surface agitation, I mean. So, surface agitation makes gas exchange, which the gas exchange takes the carbon out of the tank and replace it with nice clean oxygen for your fish to breathe. So this is what you want to do. Usually you have like maybe a bubbler or a couple filter that agitate the water surface, or like here in this corner here we have a hang on the back filter, so that also put lots of water and lots of oxygen in the tank. So anyway, yeah, so those fish, they get about 6 inch when they're adult, and then yeah, now you have a good little idea for how to keep tropheus. I would not say that those are beginner fish. You would probably want to be somebody that have lots of knowledge about aquarium already and keeping tanks stable, because they're a bit too expensive to have big mistake of a beginner that might have ammonia spike or nitrate spike in their tank. So practice with other fish first is recommending. Yeah, so we'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.